Good question.
Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to the currently untitled podcast. My name is Jess. I thought you would have said my name's Tom there, Tom.
No, who is that?
I'll just restart that. Hello, and welcome to the currently untitled podcast. I'm Jess.
And I am unfortunately Tom.
And this is the pilot, as they'd say, episode of this pod, where we're going to talk about just casually, off the top of our heads, just random topics. So we're also going to be playing Fortnite in the background, and you'll be able to tell which of us focus on the podcast and which of us really are focusing on the game very quickly. Try and guess who's who. One of us might focus more on the podcast, one might focus more on the game.
I wonder who.
So, Tom has just joined my party, and when the game starts, I will start our first topic that I have prepared for this podcast. So, Tom, what would be your dream meal? Like, if you could go into a restaurant and order any meal, you can make it like as customized as you want. What would your dream starter, main course, and dessert be?
Oh, hard question. Honestly, I don't know. Let me think here. Sushi.
I thought you would have had an answer a bit faster. I didn't think it was that hard of a question. That's maybe the gimme question, the easy one,
Yeah,
the like
yeah, but
lull
you have to
you into
remember
it.
I like all the foods.
Like that was the easy question in my mind. Be like, I'm gonna lull you in with this easy question, and then get harder and harder.
Yeah, nope.
So let's start with the starter. What would your starter be?
Oh, miso soup.
How would you? Or maybe even what would your drink be for this meal?
Probably Japanese lemonade.
So what would your starter be then with that Japanese lemonade?
Miso soup.
What would your main be?
Maybe crab rolls.
What would you end it all? What would your dream dessert be in this scenario?
Oh, dessert is a rough one. I don't know.
Remember, you can mix and match and like make it like a complete thing that's not even real.
I don't know. As long as it's sweet, it will be grand.
Okay, so what is the most valuable thing that you own?
Fuck. I don't actually know.
In your opinion, it could be like have no monetary value, obviously, but to you, it'd be the most
Yeah.
important. What would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Uh,
I mean, you're in your room now. You could just look around it and decide.
no, but monetary value isn't really
So I
much
said,
to do.
monetary value doesn't mean anything. What would you say? It would be your most important item to you.
Oh. Honestly, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love my guns, but I don't know. Probably actually a picture that I have of my baby. Yeah, probably that.
Interesting question. Interesting
Yeah.
answer there. And so,
Hmm. Okay.
what would make you feel accomplished right now? Like, if you could do one thing to make yourself feel
Right now.
accomplished, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I don't know. Getting a job where I'd never have to work again.
Getting a job you never have to work? Would you not? Would you not? Is there no job you'd want
Oh,
to work in?
no, I mean like, it's another way to say, if you get a job you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yes.
Uh,
When did you last sing to yourself?
about 5 minutes before I joined this call,
What song was it?
it was just a random thing I made up in my head.
Do you have a hunch about how you'll die?
um, yeah, probably doing some stupid shit. Um, yeah,
How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
good. Like, yeah, I guess. Don't really know how to answer that question.
What would you say would be the worst possible pizza?
Ooh, the worst
Like
possible pizza.
if you had to like from scratch, you had to make the worst pizza you possibly can. Has to be stuff that is technically edible. What would you go for?
Um, Pineapple, obviously. Mushroom.
hmm
Mm,
I'm surprised you're not making your
grapefruit.
own. Is this the base you're making here? Like what you're going to make the base out of, or the toppings?
No, this is what's going on top first.
Got it.
Yeah, this is what's going on top first. Yeah, what was I? Yes. Mushrooms, pineapple.
hmm
Can't remember the other one I said. Grapefruit. Oh, grapefruit rim. Um, with vegan cheese because vegan cheese doesn't melt properly. It's a deal breaker. And a thick base because I despise thick bases. That is slightly hard in the middle
I actually
because
like
yeah,
thick bases. I prefer a thick base than a thin crust.
no, I like a thin base and a nice crispy crust.
So would you make your base out of? Would it just be normal dough, or how would you make that?
Well, I mean, it probably would be normal dough.
Because it was pretty cool.
Um,
There's this thing called the Try Guys, and they made their sort of
I'll
avocado.
try.
They made their base out of avocado, and they what's his name? He's the gay one.
I don't know.
There's Keith, not Keith. It's not Zach. It's not Ned. It's Eugene. Eugene did that. Eugene. So yeah. What app on your phone do you use the most?
Oh. Um, Honestly, it could be TikTok, fortunate, but I do use quite a bit of Reddit.
Are you ready up so you can play the game?
Oh yeah, yes, yes. I was just looking through the store, and there's absolutely nothing that appeals to me.
What is your favorite podcast?
Well, I mean, I don't listen to podcasts, just this one.
So you've never listened to a podcast before?
Uh, Not all the way through, not on purpose.
You've never finished a podcast before?
Not on purpose.
I can't believe you haven't listened to the greatest podcast of all time.
What would that be,
In my opinion,
in your opinion?
Wolf 359.
I don't know.
You assumed I was going to say JTP podcast there, but no.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't really advertising. That was more of a
You know what I'm saying? I have finished podcasts before, but
Wolf 359 is like a audio drama podcast, more like a radio play kind of podcast. It's really really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was I had a blast listening. I listened to the
I'm
whole like 300, like I think it was like 200 episodes. I'm not sure how many exactly there is, but listened to them all in like a month and a half. I literally went on more walks that month than I ever have in my life because I wanted to listen to it more.
it is the only podcasts I really do I think it's called Happy Hour
What is
Podcast.
your biggest stupid pet peeve? Like something that makes no sense and is not important.
People
Like I hate
breathing
when
too
one of
loudly.
my feet. I hate when like I touch something with one hand. I can't touch it with the other hand. Occasionally that makes me really annoyed. So I will purposely like say like I hit a wall with my arm, like my right arm. I will then hit it with my left arm. Occasionally, like if I can do that, I usually would try to do that. I don't know why I have that obsession, but I do. What's like your kind of pet peeve, like, kind of thing like that, which doesn't make sense and is completely stupid? What would you go for? What would yours be?
That's a lot, but I don't think any of them are that level of. Uh, Probably people not finishing drinks. Really. Um,
What would
like
you go
when
for?
someone has a drink and they leave like just the tiniest bit in the bottom, then order a new drink.
Just have to pick one, Tom.
That is it.
I didn't hear you.
When someone leaves a wee bit at the bottom of their glass, then orders a new drink.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm very bad at finishing drinks that
Yeah, it
aren't
pisses me
water.
off.
Especially alcohol. If it's alcohol, I will leave a little bit, but nearly always.
What I mean, it does my head in because it's very wasteful.
Oh, mine's not wasteful. Mine's just I am very bad at drinking alcohol. What I forgot I had a question prepared and kind of forgotten it midway through that, which is very annoying that I have these questions I did not write down, and I really should have written these down. Uh,
Probably should.
yeah,
Also, have you got a weapon?
no. Oh yeah, we're playing
Yeah.
Fortnite. By the way, that's, you're gonna hear Tom ask about. I have not got a weapon. I've been focusing on this interview that I'm doing. If you could change your name, what would you change it to?
Uh, well, I mean, changing my name to Relic would be pretty cool, but be too edgy.
What would you go for? Like because it's a question that non-trans people don't get asked very much. Is what would you change your name to? It's usually only the trans people who really think about this question a lot.
Yeah.
So what would you change your name from? If you change it from Tom, what would you change it to?
Honestly, I probably would just change it to Tom instead of Natalie.
Fair, fair enough. So if you had what actually this is about that's what the question was. What conspiracy theory do you actually believe?
Um, well, I mean, obviously, I believe that Bush like did 9/11.
You believe that Bush did 9/11?
Yeah.
Any reason why you believe this?
No, it's just always something I've believed in. Kind
Everyone's got theories on this as well. Why do you think people believe conspiracy theories?
Well, I mean, it's just what I think could be true.
Have you ever had imposter syndrome?
Okay.
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's different forms of it, really, but it's like when you don't feel like you are actually kind of you. It's,
Oh, every day of my life.
it's no, it's basically where like I don't know. Imposter syndrome might not be the actual name for it, but I can't remember exactly called. But I'm not gonna say their name on the podcast because that's not fair to them. But one of my friends has this where like no, sorry, it's not imposter syndrome. It's called dissociation, where like you
Yes.
disassociate from L situations and you can't focus.
Yeah, all the time. I'm near 100% sure personality.
How does this affect your life?
One second, it's either that or I've got a wee touch of bipolar. But 1 second I'm all, chill and whatever, and then the next minute I'm just really, really not.
Okay, this is gonna be this is a question I have prepared, but also you're gonna have to do this in a very vague way, really, unless it's someone who's in the podcast. Which of your friends do you think has the worst mental health?
But,
Unless it's
outwardly or like...
unless it's me, you can't really say their names. That's not fair. But describe, try and describe this. I'll see if I can figure out who you're talking about without saying their name on the pod.
Like, outwardly or like...
Either or.
No. So I think most of us when we definitely talk about mental health in a serious way.
I mean, I do a lot actually. Like, I think I'm one of the few people I know who actually is very open and very communicational with their. But my problem is, I also I don't have a middle ground in anything. Like, as you know in life, I have no mid ground. Like, I am not very either don't talk about it at all or overly talk about it. So mine's very in the mid ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you ever had therapy, and if so, would you recommend it? And if not, why haven't you had therapy for it?
Technically I've had counselling, but no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Why wouldn't you recommend it?
Because it didn't help me in the slightest.
Fair. Because because unlike that, I'm a very big advocate of therapy, and I think everyone should get some therapy in life. Because therapy does, like, if you get a good therapist, like, they can really help you with a lot of your problems, and yeah, a therapist really just helps my mental health. It's not great currently, but it's pretty good generally. So, like, I would credit a lot of my like progress in mental health towards therapy. So I'm always interested in hearing people's thoughts on therapy.
I mean, no harm to anyone, but I truly believe that if you're going to therapy, you'll really land yourself, because I don't see any help in it. Anything that you can do in therapy, you really just do by yourself, because, yeah.
Therapists also, but yeah. Well, I mean, mine was free. First of all, I didn't pay for mine, which was pretty great because I couldn't afford it.
I'm gonna give an exception to, because right, free counselling, that's good and all, because yeah, it can help some people, but I don't understand how people can pay for counselling.
Oh no! If I could afford it, I would pay for therapy. I'd pay for it right now. I'd have a weekly session if I could afford it. The reason why I'm not currently in therapy properly, like, I do talk to counsellors every so often. Like, once you're like, or like helplines and stuff, I do talk to. I don't have an actual therapist right now because I can't afford it. But if I could afford one, I'd have one.
Yeah.
Because therapists are really good at, like, making you, like, helping you explore your issues, giving you, like, good mental health plans in place. Like, a good therapist is phenomenal. The problem is, it is also very hard to find a good therapist.
Great.
But, like, a good therapist is a phenomenal thing. But yes, this isn't about me though, this is all about you today. So, next question. If you could own any Lego set, which one would you want to own? Because this is a theory I have, I didn't talk to anyone about it, but I am sure everyone in life has one Lego set they want to own. What would yours be?
I don't know, I've always wanted the Millennium Falcon.
If you're responding, I can't hear you.
Right.
I can hear you now. What would your dream Lego set be?
Millennium Falcon.
Oh, mine's exactly the same. I think everyone's, to be honest, dream Lego set is the Millennium Falcon. Sorry, no, sorry. You said Malek Vulcan. I completely heard what I wanted to hear. My dream one is not the Malek Vulcan actually, but the Malek Vulcan is pretty great. I do have my own dream Lego set. It's not the Millennium Vulcan, but it's very close that I got them mixed up in my head.
Okay.
I shouldn't reveal what it is in this podcast though. That'll be for next time. It's the Lego Death Star, by the way. So, if you could make a TV show about any fictional character that already exists, who would it be?
Who already exists?
Yeah, like if you had to make a TV show about an existing IP, what character or world would you pick?
Yeah.
Like, which character do you think you'd have a lot to say about? You could add something really interesting to the mix with. So you go for Deadpool then?
Yeah, I think Deadpool could be a lot more potential. It could be variable.
I don't really think there's any barriers that Deadpool has that restrict the Deadpool.
Well, I mean, obviously there's always topics that people refuse to touch.
Because I think why Deadpool is so interesting and so good is because of the restrictions on him. Because like one of the best things in the Deadpool 1 movie is the scene where instead of having a huge gunfight, he forgot the bag and he has like 12 bullets.
Yeah.
And that only happened because they couldn't afford to do it properly. Or how like Deadpool is really close to Spider-Man in the comics, but that's because Marvel made them have a crossover with Spider-Man. Like a lot of what Deadpool, I think a lot of Deadpool's coolness came from being forced to do stuff. And I feel like not all restrictions make you more creative, but certain restrictions do like create creativity.
Yeah.
Like the entire genre of bottle episodes. You know what bottle episodes are, don't you?
Of what?
Bottle episodes.
I probably know what you're talking about, but not by that term.
Bottle episodes are basically when you have it's bottle episodes stand for like when you like open a bottle of like Coke, it like fizzles up and explodes. So that's where the term really comes from. But it's where you have like the whole thing happens inside one episode. It's all emotion based, really. So it all happens in all in one location. Yeah. So it's very closed, very tight knit, and it's very simple. Like in concept, it's also very cheap. TV shows for the longest time had them, and still do actually have them, because they're so cheap that you use a already built location and already paid for cast, and you burn nothing else in, so there's no new costs. It's a good way of saving money, but it's also a good way of saving money and all. But they're always very interesting and very good in my opinion. But also a part of the reason why they're made usually is because of the restrictions on how you kind of have to, because you have like a certain budget and you want to make episodes bigger, you have to make one smaller. So like they only really came about so they could make bigger episodes. Is why the bottle episodes were created. So restrictions made those episodes, and are pretty much my favorite episodes of TV in general.
Yeah. But yeah, Friends, Big Bang Theory, that type of shit.
No, they don't really do bottle episodes. They've done. I don't know if they've done any actually. They'll have like at least 5 or 6 locations per episode. Really, I can't think of an episode of Big Bang Theory at all that's one location.
True.
I might be wrong about that, but I cannot think of a single one.
Friends, I've seen quite a few episodes that only have like 2 locations.
They have a few with one. They have a few episodes like I hate Friends, but I know Friends well enough. They have like in Friends they've got the one where no one's ready. All happens in the apartment. Like there are a few different episodes of Friends where it's bottle episodes. How I Met Your Mother, I don't know specifically if they have one or not. Like they are very like how much of it is very like same sort of thing where it's the same sets they already have built for a lot of it. But if they have a single bottle episode, they've got a lot of nearly bottle episodes, but if they've got a single episode that's completely bottle.
Mm.
To be honest, Community's got a really good one as well. Like there's I really like bottle episodes. If I ever made a TV show, I'd want to make. I'd actually have an idea for a TV show, which you know about called Agents of Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And in that show, I want to make a bottle season where the entire season only has already existing characters before the season starts. All happens in one like building.
Yes.
I think that'd be really
Right.
fun.
So, Jess, I'm gonna
Yes.
need you to like kill a lot faster.
I'm too busy thinking, busy with my questions.
Well, you can still kill a lot faster. You can talk and shoot. Because we can't complete that until we do, which means we're gonna have a space taken up by something that we need.
So, which member of our creative like group, which is basically me, you, Peter, John Gorman, James Allen, I would say those, and me and you. So, it's out of these like the of new the core like people who like appear in podcasts or like our videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Who would you say the best cook is of that kind of group?
Well, I don't know because honestly, I haven't really had everyone's cooking. I mean, me and James cooked some real good pasta. So we did. Well, I think that's the only time I've had anything James has cooked.
The Peter.
Well, I mean, fun story. Peter decided to make fish cakes. Um, I really hope Peter hears this podcast. And they're still frozen in the middle. They're raw. Uh, always a fun story when we talk about Peter's cooking. Um, so I don't think I've actually had anything we've cooked that hasn't just been from frozen.
Okay, let's move on to John next.
No, no, never had anything John has cooked
I
apart
have
from.
not either, to be honest. And we'll move on to
Um,
yourself next.
so I mean, from personal experience, probably myself, seeing as I haven't had much, if anything, from anyone else.
We're going to have to then move on to the last of the people in this list, which is myself.
That's what I already talked about yours. I think anything I've had that you've made has either been hot noodle or from frozen.
No, I have made you fajitas before.
True, fajitas. I
True,
they
fajitas,
me.
for my fajitas, they're basically just chicken, cheese, some peppers, and a wrap, and some, like, the mix from the box. Like, they're pretty much box fajitas, but they're pretty nice. I wouldn't say I'm a good cook. I'd say I'm a very restrictive cook where I can cook like 7 things, but I cook them in a way I really like them.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. But no, I know who I think would be the best cook of the five, but I obviously am not answering questions.
Okay.
So if you had to make a James Bond movie, what would it be called, and give me a general sort of plot for it?
Um, I don't know. Honestly, James Bond isn't really my type of thing.
Oh, same
Um,
here. That's why I've said it.
so I would probably end up going for a comedy spin and making a whole joke out of it, like a bad day to die hard, where he mixes up his concoctions and ends up eating Niagara, and somehow has to do this amazing spy while having a raging erection.
Fair enough. I thought you would have been here. I thought you were beside me actually, but you were not. The teammate's getting revived. There's not two of them again. I do not realize you weren't with me. I can actually tell you what mine would be because it's pretty cool. You know what mine would be?
What would yours be?
Mine would be called Strikeout. And so basically, it would start in the classic Bond scenario. We know where it's sort of like it's a standalone mission, like where it's Bond doing a really cool thing, like he's racing like to stop a bomb blowing up, and it's like him hunting on a big chase scene. I mean, like this cool action moments and all, right? It's like a very standard Bond, right? And then we cut the Bond now, and Bond goes into M to get his usual mission, and M says we're on strike because we're not being paid properly. And so then Bond would go to Q to get gadgets from Q, and Q gives him stuff to relax and all. So the whole movie would be focused on Bond not being able to do any spy stuff, and being forced to be in the office. And so like Bond might also be a bit more comedical as well. So like Bond being, so you see what Bond does when Bond can't be Bond, and Bond has to like be help in the office and all. So that would be like basically, but also then you have the great scenes where it's like they're on strike, but they can't officially, because they're obviously undercover spies, and you obviously can't reveal your spies. So during their strike, they're saying they're trying to like obviously get the government to get them more money. So they're saying we cannot tell you what we do or who we are, but we demand more money. And so it's just basically the most vague chants ever. And people are like, "What the hell are you chanting for? What are you trying to get done?" They're like, get us the more money we deserve for the jobs that we do. And this is the whole like joke there. For like a good joke of that would be them never being allowed to say anything they do, but try to protest that they should get more money for it, without being able to give any sort of detail on what they're doing. So like my bomb would basically be all about the sort of strike that's happening, and like it'd barely be any action in it.
Oh. Oh, by the way, I just donated all my gold
I see that.
to assault rifles. So, time for me to ask you a question. Are we ever actually gonna make a video of us doing the airsoft?
I mean, doing the airsoft.
As in actually making a video of it?
Of us playing airsoft, like make a video about us actually playing it.
Yeah, and we're gonna like commentate over it.
I don't have GoPro.
Hmm?
I don't have a GoPro to record it.
I do.
Then yeah, at some point. But also, you can't ask the questions. Really, this is not a two-way interview.
Uh, it does now.
What would you say makes a good person? This one's a pretty deep question. In your opinion, what is a good person?
Um, well, I'm gonna have to be kind of vague with that.
Whoever answer you give is the answer you give.
Okay. Well, to make a good person, obviously no one is perfect. Well, obviously. But I don't think there's just such a thing as a good person. You can be a nice person, but I don't think there's such a thing as a good person because of the fact that no one's perfect. So, I mean, loyalty, respect, some ethical things that I'm not going to discuss.
How would you, if you
Yeah.
had to celebrate your birthday, how would you do so? Like, what would your dream birthday celebration be?
Um, well, obviously, a group of friends, somewhere isolated. Like, we'll say a yacht, a private yacht, for a somewhat extended period of time.
So if I have been brutally murdered, like you found my body, right? And you can't see the arms. There's no legs left. There's barely
Mm-hmm.
any body, and there's barely my face. It's basically just like bits and pieces of my body laying around the place, and you can barely tell who it
Uh-huh.
is. They do DNA test, and you finally find out it's me. So you know I know I've been murdered brutally, right?
Do I know who by?
This is the thing. No, you do not know who by, but I've been brutally, like, basically the most violent murder that's ever been in human history has happened to me, and the body is like the grossest thing ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Which fictional detective would you want to solve my murder?
Oh. Good question.
And obviously you want my
Um,
murder to be solved. So who would you pick to try and solve it?
uh, Detective Chimp.
Who's Detective Chimp?
Never heard of him?
Well, I mean, even if I have, it's a
Um,
podcast.
don't know how to. Well, he is a fictional detective from DC Comics, and obviously he's a chimp.
Is he a private detective or does he work for the police?
I'm pretty sure he's private
So why would he be your number one go-to call?
because, to my knowledge, he is pretty good at what he does.
Okay, let's make this a lot harder for you. You have to
Okay.
pick a police force from fiction to solve my murder. Who would it be?
Um,
Because
I think there is
there's
anything
Detective
for.
Chip and there's like Sherlock Holmes. And there's some great private detectives. But it has to be has to be a police force from fiction. Who would you go for? Which police force would you want to solve my gruesome murder?
Most police forces are pretty incompetent. So.
Well, I mean, I know a police force I'd want, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you'd want certain detectives, like Murtaugh and Riggs, Commissioner Gordon. I mean, there's certain detectives you would want to solve the murder.
Yes.
But you don't get to pick the detective, obviously, who's solving murders. You can pick, you know what I mean? You don't get to
Also,
pick.
I'm gonna change my answer for which detective
Okay,
because I thought of one better, and it would be Bigby
okay,
from Fables.
fair enough. You know what police force I picked from a movie to solve my murder?
Yeah, something like that. Who?
Uh, I'd pick the police force from what's it called? Who would I pick? The police force from
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Elf.
You're gonna have to hate me like right now.
The police force from like Elf or How I Met Your Mother, one of those kind of things. You know
Okay.
why?
Yeah.
How many crimes do you see in Elf or How I Met Your Mother or
Right.
Scrubs? Because as you may or may not have realized in life, the police are most effective when you don't know they're there or don't really notice them.
Yes.
The more police are noticed, the worse police are. Like the best police force in the world you wouldn't really think of because they'd be doing their
Right.
jobs so well you wouldn't even think of them. If you could live in any country in the world,
Continue.
what country would it be?
Um, back to lobby with
Sorry, what did you say there?
Go back to lobby and you know, Doesn't have to be real.
We'll say yes.
None.
You have to pick one though. What country would you go for?
As I said, none. They are all screwed.
Yeah, but you have to pick one though. That's the question. Isn't name? Is the question isn't countries you'd like to live in? It's what country would you live in? Because you think about it, you don't have that many restrictions on you for country wise.
True, true.
Because you're white, male, and cis.
Hmm?
Like I can't go to like 20% of countries.
Only 20%?
Yes, with 20%.
Honestly, thought it would be more.
Well, no, think about it a lot. Well, I didn't say I wouldn't survive in 20% of countries. There's a lot more countries if I went to I would probably die, but I mean physically allowed into. I'd be physically allowed into about 80% of the countries.
You're going to have to elaborate.
Well, because there's like certain countries where being gay is banned and illegal, so I wouldn't be allowed to enter the country.
Yeah, neither
But
would
I'd be
I.
allowed to enter America, but I probably wouldn't survive America, but I'd be allowed to enter it.
Yeah, neither could I.
See, I mean, there's a massive difference between surviving and living. Sorry, not surviving and living. There's a
Um,
difference between being allowed in and surviving there, and not being even allowed in to try. Which TV or movie character that isn't openly gay are you certain is definitely gay?
oh, um, right, I'm not 100% sure on this detail, but Jason Todd.
Jason does not confirm to be anything but straight, so that's one. I
Okay,
I would answer. I can't. Obviously, I'm not answering these, but I do have an answer for that.
okay.
It must be very funny hearing me just keep saying that. I'm not answering questions.
Yeah.
Really. But also the answer would be the doctor, obviously.
Uh,
If you could learn any one detail about me, the questionnaire, that you have not learned before, what would it be?
ooh, I don't know.
There's a potential I will tell you the answer.
I honestly don't know.
Because that's the thing. I am a very open book, but there's a lot I have not talked about or told anyone about. And if you have an answer to that question, that's good. I will answer whatever you ask for that question, basically, on this podcast right now.
Um,
We can let you think about that and maybe come back to it later if you have one now.
yeah, I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to remember that because I will forget it by the time we get later on.
Yeah, I'll remember that. Uh, yes, I need you to change game mode to. There is a zombie survival one.
How about this? If you want to play certain game mode, I've got an answer to.
Oh.
Then just invite me to join you, and then I'll work that way. Oh wait, I
You
think
just
I've
did,
joined
John.
you. I'm in. There we go.
Sweet. Next question. Yes.
If you could go back in time to assassinate one historical figure, it can't be like a dictator, it can't be like Hitler or Genghis Khan, it can't be someone who's truly evil. Who'd you assassinate?
Hmm.
Can't be a truly evil figure, because that's too easy. Who'd you assassinate?
Thinking about that one.
Like, take away the truly evil people in history. Who'd you assassinate?
Right. How evil are we counting as truly evil?
We're counting mass genocide and rapists. We're talking about like mass murderers and rapists. The evils of the evil were taken out. Who would you? Who would you go for?
Right. Well, seeing as this is technically a technicality, um, there's another.
What do you say? I heard the word murder.
Hmm?
I heard the word murder.
Hitler's mother.
Fair enough. A technicality, but I did not say you couldn't use technicalities to break my system.
Yep.
Who do you think the coolest character that I've ever created would be? I've told you about most of them. Not most of them. I told you about, I'd say a good quarter of them. Who would you say is the most badass character I've ever created?
Um,
For most questions, I don't think there's a right answer, but I kind of think there might be a right answer for this one. Do you want me to tell you who the answer actually would be, Tom?
who would that be?
The Easter Bunny.
Who?
Because remember, my Easter Bunny is a mass murderer. They terrify children.
True.
They
I
function.
wasn't
They function off
counting
fear.
that.
Everything they do is like they literally torture children by murdering people to make them believe in them more. They like trap people inside eggs and all. Made a deal with the devil.
I honestly wasn't counting that. As that was kind of a campaign.
At some point in life, we'll finally get the D&D podcast running. You'll learn more about them then. That question was slightly a way to plug the podcast. You haven't got up and running yet. But also, I have very cool characters, and my favourite one I've ever created would have to be Billy and Nick. I know that's technically two, but they're so connected that I basically consider them one person.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
If you wrote a novel, what would you call it? So not novel, an autobiography. What would you call your autobiography?
Oh, well. Fuck you and fuck you too.
So fuck you and fuck you too.
Fuck you and fuck me too.
Did I hear that right?
No.
Repeat it again, because I think I might have just heard it.
Fuck you and fuck me too.
You know, I have a name for my autobiography, and it is kind of too perfect. I don't know if I should keep answering my own questions or not, though. But my answer would be, say yes to the Jess, never going Jack, and it's a pretty perfect title. It's a pretty phenomenal title. For also the sheer fact that nobody else in the world is allowed to say that title. or they're just an asshole dead naming a trans person, but I can say it. So it'll be one of those book titles where you, as an audience, couldn't say the title, or it'd be kind of dicks. And I think that's kind of funny. What is your favorite movie that no one talks about? I mean, because everyone knows mine is Internship. What would your favorite movie that no one talks about be? So like, has to be at least niche to cult fall. The highest it can be is it has a cult following.
Something I haven't really heard of recently would probably be Dogma.
Oh, I do love Dogma. That's got a good cult following in there. Dogma is pretty, yeah. I haven't heard it been talked about in a little bit. What about Dogma? Do you love?
Or just the whole film direction. I just like the way it was made.
It is probably my favorite of Kevin Smith's movies. As someone who's watched every one he's made, I'd say it's my favorite one of his. I defeated the first boss in this game we're playing, everyone, as y'all know. But yes, so
Yeah.
what would
Either
your
that, or there's one that you definitely haven't heard of. It's called Zombiever.
tell what?
Zombiever.
What's Zombie? Try and pitch it to me. You make you want to watch it.
Well, I mean, Zombiever is one of your classic kind of low budget zombie movies. But instead of zombies, we have zombie beavers.
Mm.
Um, the physical effects are kind of fun. As you watch people turning into beavers, zombie beavers.
What about this? What about this movie is so good about it? Like that sounds like a really interesting bad movie that's kind of really fun. Kind of pitched it, but what about it makes it go from just a bad movie
Oh,
to a good movie?
I think it's more just it is not the greatest um, effects up to today's standards. Um, I think it's actually new enough
Hmm.
that they should, realistically have better physical effects. I think that's why I like it so much because I'm just not the standard of physical effects that everyone expects nowadays.
If you could make a movie right now, what would you want the movie to be about, and what kind of movie would you want to make right now?
Well, I mean, not to like promo myself, but I mean, I did have a movie in the making, which never came to fruition.
You have two problems with that movie is the thing, to be honest.
What about that?
The first one was you got a cast who were never fair at the same time was a bit of a problem. That was
Yeah.
obviously out of your control. I'd say the biggest problem with your movie was that you should never make your first movie outside based.
Yeah.
Like you should make the first movie you make basically mostly be based inside a building.
Hmm.
Because when it's outside, it's harder to control because you can't control. It's hard to control lighting and sound, to make it sound good outside, and
Oh,
make it look well outside. So it's always
There's
best like to start your
there is another
stuff
one
inside.
that was made as a backup, as it follows roughly the same storyline as the one that was shot outdoors, and can be shot 100% indoors. Its storyline can work the same. Not going to be as fleshed out as the other one as I want it to be, but it's doable. I just need the cast.
Because what you'd want from like your first movie you make, you'd want basically 80-20 at most. You want 80% indoors, 20% outdoors at most. Because you basically want to try and stay inside a place as much as you can, really.
Yeah. I am currently working on a two-man movie.
Who would you want your cast to be for this? Have you got a cast in mind when you're writing this, or?
Ideally, I don't want to be. I don't really want to be casting myself, but I might have to.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I want to cast myself a lot, but I always end up casting myself.
ideally, I would be wanting to be you and Peter.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
I'm currently
that doesn't
developing
mean
one
it ever
myself. I'm
goes
currently
wrong.
still developing airing your problems out to write it soon, which is all indoors, free locations. Basically, it's basically set in 2 different time periods. Maybe 3 locations in total. So sorry, not 3 locations in total. Maybe 3 to 4 locations in total. 95% at least indoors. 4 main actors, maybe like 4 background actors at most.
Yeah. So where is this boss?
I don't know what this name was. I killed the old one.
Find it. In the hole.
So one's on there. Actually, I killed one in a hole.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. The boss fight didn't end.
When I was in ended. I know this because it teleported me away from the boss fight.
That would be because you hit the teleport. That's on purpose.
What would you say the greatest book is that no one talks about?
The greatest what?
What is your favorite book that no one really talks about?
Oh, there's a book that I absolutely adored from a local writer. When I say local, I mean Cumber. Anyway, um, uh, something Spence. He does stories with a twist. Um, that I find actually quite good. Um, and I do like supporting like local writers. Um, his books were fairly entertaining.
I'm not.
So,
Yeah. I'm not sure if my answer to that question would count or not, though.
yeah.
It's the Diamond Brothers books. I'm not sure if they're considered not talked about much or not. You like the I've read it recently and I really enjoyed it. You like the Falcon's Malteser? Those books. I have some of the other ones. I haven't got to read them yet because I haven't been free to read them yet. But I'm very excited to sit down and read those kids' books. They're real fun.
Yeah.
So
question.
Where would you where's your political lines?
Don't have one.
But no, like what political group do you think is best? Though?
Again, I think they are. I think they're all idiots. So, as I said, I don't
Yeah.
really have one for that reason.
Because for example, anti-establishment, which is I don't believe government really is. I don't really believe in government as a system really, because I don't think government actually works. Because I don't think any political group actually doesn't do what it says it does, but doesn't actually support all people. It supports only those who try and vote for it, so for a certain side. So, like for example, uh, in Northern Ireland, there's two different there's like two different groups, Protestant and Catholic, and there's no party that supports both really. They say they do, for example. So like, I don't really believe that any group says they do what they do enough to really support them.
Yeah.
But I believe in this sounds such a cliche answer. I believe that capitalism, if we ever actually tried it properly, would be a really good system. Because I don't think the system we have is capitalism. Which is a whole different. It's the whole thing I'll get into in a different podcast.
Okay. Intrigued.
What what moment in your life has given you the most anxiety that you're willing to share on a podcast?
Anxiety. Well, I'm just generally anxious to begin with. So that is a hard question. Well, I mean, I suppose I now have like a subconscious fear of doing.
What if any upsides have your life had thanks to COVID?
You said what?
What if any upsides is COVID give to your life?
Oh, well, I mean, it really made me realize that you really, when you have no options with life, you really find that it regards when you're basically not able to go outside. Who actually gives a shit about you? And who's just there because alcohol or some other reason?
Hmm.
Because the amount of people you would call like a friend that you didn't hear from at all. And with people I really call friends that I don't hear from anymore, haven't done since COVID. That really shows that you may just be a close people and they have nothing better to do.
Do
They
you
like
bel
to hear about
do you believe people are inherently good or inherently bad?
that. Deep down, I think it's both. Um, some people just are here just to be evil, to be bad. And I think that is their purpose in life. To take. Um,
How important do you think nature versus nurture is towards how people are as humans?
oh, I think people use things like that as an excuse for being bad people. Um, for example, people will be like, "Oh yeah, I was never, my mother never loved me, or my father never loved me." They'll try and use that as an excuse for being a dick. Um, but to an extent, nature versus nurture is some of that.
Do you think the effects are minor, or
Not as major as people prefer.
because I fully believe the way the Goopfless believes, which is people are inherently better when they're given love and support. Like people are like you can find people like are actually better when they're given love and support. People do improve and get better. Like it has been proven time and time again by how important other human beings are to mental health, people like spirituality and how they are as people. Like I generally believe that nature versus nurture is very important and actually like you can like especially like look at dogs for example. Like dogs are you could get like a Yorkshire Terrier that wants to kill everyone because it was raised badly, and you could get a German Shepherd who is the nicest thing in the world because of how it's raised.
Um, we also have to remember there is a quite a large, we'll say, intelligence gap. People and uh, dogs.
Well, I was using
Um,
dogs as more of a. It's
yeah,
easier. I'm more using dogs because it's easier to look at dogs than it is to look at people because people are more complex.
you see, yeah, they're complicated, but because people have, higher intelligence, they they can know what they're doing. They know if they're hurting someone or doing stuff like that. So, in the case of people, nature versus nurture, yeah, important and stuff, but not as important as you say it would be with a dog.
I say this. Dogs are very intelligent though.
Well, I'm probably going to start a debate here, but cats, no matter how much you nature nurture cats, cats are always going to be gay.
I
And I think
100%
the same
disagree.
kind of applies to people.
I don't think cats are dicks at all, but also I think dogs are extremely intelligent. Like I was, let's be honest, I don't really care about this kind of stuff. I'll share with anyone. I've had a very tough time mental health wise thanks to the job I'm currently in. And it's basically broken my mental health and I'm pretty depressed right now. And Flash, since I started that job, will not leave my side at all in life. Like he will not move further than 2 feet away from me because he knows I'm upset. So like, I think dogs I don't think have very good intelligence, but for like a lot of things. But I think dogs have
Yeah,
phenomenal emotional
emotionally,
intelligence, which is more important. I think, to be honest, I think emotional intelligence is so much more important than uh, what's it called? The other type of intelligence. Because anyone can be book smart or like street smart. It's very hard to be emotionally smart.
yeah, emotional intelligence is
I
pretty
think the
easy to
most
find nowadays.
important intelligence. But yes, So, out of dogs that you know, speaking of dogs, rank the top 5 dogs that you know. Not in order of 1 to 5, just what are your 5 favorite dogs that you know?
Do they have to be living?
I'm gonna say no, but you can't count your own. You can't count dogs that you own though in life, because that's
That's fine.
unfair. Because the
True,
other
it
dogs
is.
would get, then because obviously every dog you own would get a spot.
No, they wouldn't.
That is insane. Okay, who's the top? Who would you say the top 5 dogs are?
I don't know as many dogs as I like.
Well, who would your top 5 dogs be?
Well, I mean, as I said, I don't remember. And obviously that's black and tailor.
Oh, I mean they are obviously in everyone's list who's met them.
David Gibbons, but I don't know many dogs.
I've forgotten everyone doesn't know as many dogs as I know in life. The only 5 minutes of my entire so far, it's been 58 hours of work so far. The only 5 minutes I've enjoyed was when someone told me about their dogs and showed me pictures. What are your thoughts on method actors?
Nah, this one in my mind really depends on
Uh,
um,
go ahead, talk about what you mean by that.
I mean, you have your method actors that, yeah, they but then you have your method actors that are dick to everyone else around them.
Oh,
Um,
so you mean like on the scale of Daniel Day-Lewis to Jim Carrey?
yeah. Method acting, as long as everyone's on board with it, I don't see a problem with it. Like, for example, don't get me wrong, I don't like Jared Leto at all, but his method acting for Suicide Squad, I didn't mind because everyone was on
They
board.
were not on
But
board. He sent them used condoms. He sent dead pigs and all. He sent both people. No one was on board for that. That was forced on people.
no, what do you call her? Margot Robbie, I believe was actually on board for it because she did end up keeping the mask in a sense in the past.
Like I don't really like any method acting really. Most unless basically I don't think that you should as a method actor should involve other people in your method acting. I think it should only hurt you. You know what I mean? I don't think you should be allowed to involve other people in it. Basically, like take this is the topic I'll talk about now for a little bit. Take Jim Carrey. He's my favorite example of method acting. Right? You ever watched Man on the Moon? Which is basically also, I'll be honest, I didn't realize this until watching Man on the Moon, but you know, I'm very much like Andy Kaufman in my style of entertainment. Because Andy Kaufman really likes to be weird and spontaneous and doesn't care that deeply if you understand what's happening. I kind of at times likes you not to really know what's happening. And I have entire live streams and entire videos where the entire purpose is that exactly that. Not the point though I was not my point I was making there though, but like Jim Carrey tortured people on set, didn't talk to people properly, threatened to fight people, forced everyone to call him like Andy on set and all, almost basically a complete and utter douchebag on set. To the point where the behind the scenes of that movie weren't released for 20 years. Because the studio didn't want people to think that Jim Carrey was an asshole. Oh, he was, definitely. Man, I don't agree with why it was kept secret, but this is the thing. I understand why it was kept a secret why it was kept a secret though, but I don't like it. I don't think it should be kept secret, but I get why, which is obviously because when you're making a movie, you don't want bad press to get out about your movie. Generally speaking, so like, no, I think what happened was for the first let's say year of it, when after making it, where your press matters before the movie comes out, and then your box office matters and all. Like at that point, it probably wasn't revealed because they want people to know about how bad it was, so they'd watch the movie. Then like, after a while, it just became you'd have to then purposely go your way to tell people, and just didn't care enough to do that. And then Netflix wanted to make a documentary, then people found it that way because they made a documentary. But I don't think people. I think it was more of a, for a while it was they just didn't care to tell people. I can't. This is not even trying to bash Jim Carrey, but I cannot think of 3 Jim Carrey movies that I legitimately enjoy right now. No, I'm not even trying to bash him. I'm literally, this is the thing. I do enjoy Jim Carrey as an actor, but I can't think of 3 at the top of my head right now that I'm enjoy. I can think of only 3 at the top of my head that I really enjoy he's done. This isn't bad. I just might have forgotten a few more I enjoy, but I literally can't think of more than. I'm gonna do it in reverse order from worst to best for my mind. I can remember that I like. Sonic the Hedgehog's the 3rd spot. The Truman Show would be at 2nd, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind would be 1st. I cannot think of any other movies he's done that I enjoy right now.
No?
Well, no, I hate Pet Detective passionately. If any, I believe if you have a scene where you vomit for 10 full minutes about someone being trans, that you're a disgrace. I think The Mask. Yes. It's literally the end of the movie. And then he sexually assaults the woman by literally grabbing her genitals and showing off her dick. I think The Grinch is at best fine. Cat in the Hat is great for memes, terrible movie. The Mask is good unless you know the source material. Like, The Mask is decent, but when you read the source material, it just makes it, it's just more annoying we didn't get some more like that. Did you know in the graphic novel for The Mask, during it, the mask like just keeps swapping people?
Yeah, I have seen the novel for it, and yeah, Hellboy does a really good job.
Also, thanks to the Jim Carrey adaptation, we'll never get like a true adaptation of it, which is kind of sad to think about. Fun Run with Dick and Jane has some great moments to it, but I think it lacks consequences for actions. Really, you know what? I'm wrong. Mr. Popper's Penguins is legitimately great. Thinking about them now, that's legitimately great.
I do like Liar Liar.
Liar Liar, I do enjoy actually. Now I'm thinking about his movies, there are more I enjoy. Bruce Almighty, I really love. Thinking about them now in quick obsession, there's a lot more I enjoy than I remembered off the top of my head. What would you say the best sport is to watch?
The sport? Oh, um, I don't know. Sport's not really my thing, to be honest with you. I mean, I do like a bit of fighting. Really like a bit of fighting. Um, so it could be MMA.
What is the most extreme fight you've ever been in?
Being in, oh, it never really gets that extreme, honestly. Oh, yeah, shit doesn't really get that extreme.
What is your...
Never,
Okay.
unfortunately, it never gets to that point because people usually end up stopping it before it can get to that point.
What is your go-to feel-good movie?
Feel good movie? Oh, I don't know.
Like if you're in a bad mood and you need cheered up fast, what movie would make you feel happy by just by watching?
Um,
We all have one.
I don't know what mine is, honestly.
Because Emma Jane's would be Tangled, me and John's would be Internship. To name but two people.
Uh, don't know. Not a lot, actually.
What would you say that your home country makes better than anyone else?
Alcoholic. Petrol bomb.
Personally, I was thinking butter, but
Butter? Really?
yeah, like we make better butter than most places in the world. Like where all of you went on holiday, Tom?
Places really cool. Mostly in like the Spanish direction.
Yeah, have you had their butter?
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as good. Like I'm not saying Northern Ireland does like everything better than anywhere else, But I've never had better butter.
Honestly, I have had better butter in
Ireland, this is the controversial opinion. Northern Ireland and Ireland aren't that different. We're basically the same.
but now they are two different places. I saw breakfast, they are now two different.
Yeah, but we're different, two different places the way America and Canada are two different places.
Yeah. Or even, I'm thinking more, it's like, just the shape. They are different countries, but they are same in a way.
What's your favorite expression?
Originally, that would be my favorite expression.
If you had to live in any movie or TV show or books version of hell, what'd you go for?
Version of hell, I'll go with, Little Nicky.
Little Nicky?
Yeah.
Never watched that one.
Mm, he's pretty alright. Adam Driver.
This is not my answer, but there is a correct answer, and I have to give credit to where I got it from, though, which is After Hours, but there is a correct answer.
Okay.
Bill and Ted's Afterlife for their hell. Sorry, their hell.
Yeah.
You can challenge the devil to any game you like, and if you win, you don't just leave hell. The devil will do your bidding for you. Because all you have to do is pick a game that you're really good at, and you'll get out of hell.
Okay.
Like you could take Connect 4, a game where as long as you go first, you basically can't lose. You mean as long as you get to go first in Connect 4, you basically can't lose it. You can basically only draw or win, as long as you don't fuck it up.
Okay.
So like you could literally go to be in their hell and win Connect 4 and get out of hell with the devil and being your personal assistant. If you got sucked into the world of a commercial, what commercial would you want to be sucked into?
Mm, Skittles commercial.
What's Skittles commercial? There's quite a few of them.
Oh, everything you touch turns into Skittles.
Why would you be turned into a lot commercial?
Well, I mean, as long as I'm not the one turning things into Skittles, it would be pretty sweet. Skittles every second.
But no, technically that commercial is not different than our own world, really, though.
It is though, because it is not, real stuff.
No, because that commercial is the same as ours, but for from one man has this weird thing about him. So unless you're that person, it's still our world. What would you say the lesson of Frankenstein is? Everyone's got a different interpretation of this.
Well, I mean, I've got a few different ideas for the lesson of Manchester. Ranging from a whole beauty standard point of view to the fact that everyone has a mob mentality. Um, they will just follow like sheep. Yeah.
What are your opinions on the end of Mice and Men? Like, spoiler alert for Mice and Men, of course, guys. What are your thoughts on a Mice and Men's ending with George and Lenny?
Um, I don't know, honestly. I think it is, well, not right. Yes, there was obviously the mother, but she isn't all that. Lenny isn't all there.
Yeah, that's very surface level. Everyone knows that one. Lenny's not really understanding what's happening.
So death definitely wasn't the correct path. Um, as he is physically, we'll say, incapable of, you know, planning such a thing or doing such a thing on purpose because he is, mentally, yeah, mentally incapable. Would that be a fair way to word it?
I would say he's mentally challenged, but mentally incapable is another way of saying it.
I think George is a dick, but at the same time, a lot worse would have happened to Lenny if George didn't do it.
So why do you think George is a dick?
Because, yeah, um, he may have thought, you know, people reasons behind it, like, this kind of keeping Lenny from a maybe the first state. Um, but again, you can still just pack up and move out.
To play devil's advocate here, they can't just pack up and move out. They've done that like 8 or 9 times. They're not finding work anymore. And while in the past, Lenny's problems has only caused George like having to leave problems or like problems like staying places. He has just committed murder now. So that does make it worse as well. And he's being falsely accused of stuff as well. So could George actually save him even if George tried?
Logically, I'm sure in a court of law, would still be
I think it would be manslaughter, and if it was going to court actually, it's still manslaughter.
yeah, but it get dismissed for it.
I no, I
Um,
think he'd go to mental ward.
yeah, it would, but I mean, he wouldn't.
I don't know. He might get time because he did murder someone.
But I'm still pretty sure it will be dismissed as kind of like where he is mentally incapable. Or the key to that is the law.
What do you think the key to a good relationship is? Not romantic, or if you want it to be romantic, romantic. Just in general, what do you think it takes to have a good relationship?
If there's no trust, then
Do you think soulmates are real? If so, why? If not, why not?
um, soulmate, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, you can love someone, and that's alright, but I don't know about if it's a soulmate. Like, love is like a fickle thing. Because don't get me wrong, like true love for true love is nice, but is that any sentiment better? Yeah.
Oh, I'm the interferer. I don't give comments on what I think about the answers.
Yeah, that would be my conclusion. Yeah.
If you had to fight hobbits from Lord of the Rings, right?
Mhm.
And you know how hobbits basically, let's be honest, have no real fighting ability, aren't the brightest, but are very noble and very loyal. They're very important, but they're also the very not physically strong and aren't that intelligent and don't like to fight, right?
Okay.
How many hobbits do you think you could take in a fight?
Um. Now, this this I'm not gonna lie. This is stolen. This is 100% stolen. But I don't know. Like 200.
How do you think you could?
Standing, standing in like a narrow like alleyway. Just taking fire and constantly taking.
Who do you think the most important? You watched Lord of the Rings?
Uh-huh.
Who do you think the most important person to the of the Fellowship was?
Um. Well, potentially the most important, well, like not even person, creature, really, really gets me Jessica because it pretty much hits like all the levels. As is really the best that ever existed. That movie would have been over in a minute.
Yeah, but also the movie does acknowledge this fact. The book and movies acknowledge the fact about the eagles and how using eagles would have made it so much faster. Because I'm not sure if you realise when they do this though. You know when this is addressed? During Gandalf's death. Gandalf says, "Fly, you fools." Gandalf literally tells them to use the eagles and fly when he's dying. Gandalf basically was leading them as close as he could and pretty much leading them towards where the eagles would have been. And tells them to fly, not to walk, to fly. But no, removing the eagle though, because they're not a character, they don't have a personality that we see. Which character do you think is the most important? Why do you think it's Gollum?
Well, maybe not even important. I'm more the leader of the franchise. Because honestly, I don't think I would have continued with Gollum.
My answer is basically everyone's answer is the problem if I answered that question. It's Sam. Sam did most of the work. He already carried Frodo on his back. Sam never got weak. Sam never was weakened by the ring. Sam stayed with Frodo at all times. Sam was always loyal. Sam did his best to always protect Frodo. Sam was a loyal and true friend at all times, and even when Frodo wasn't a loyal and true friend to him, he was a loyal and true friend. Following him when he wanted or when he didn't. I'm trying to get to it. And at the end of the Two Towers, I don't remember the exact wording of it, but he gives one of the greatest speeches in film history. Do you, do you remember how the speech goes?
No, I do not.
Frodo says, "Why are we doing this?" And Sam replies, "We're just two hobbits far from the Shire." And this is like one of those stories where it's so dark that you don't want to know the ending, because how after all this can there possibly be good, and how can possibly good win in the end, and everything go back to normal? But those are the stories that matter. Those are the stories that you want to hear about, because they actually mattered and had an impact. What are we fighting for, Frodo? We're here if we're fighting. There's some good left in humanity, and that's what we're fighting for. And then the greatest line, one of my favorite lines in all of any media is, "I can't carry it for you, Frodo, but I can carry you." And then Sam picks up Frodo and directly carries him. If you had to, hypothetically of course, plan what you think is the most foolproof murder, what would it be? Of course, you already know my answer to this question. Uh, I have to shout out Peter because this is our team answer for this though. So what we would both do is we'd wait till like basically Halloween to do the murder. We'd decorate our house as like a haunted house and like have like all these decorations going on anyway, and then hang the body like obviously like put like a mat or something on it so you can't see the face, so it's a bit less, so it's not obviously as catchable that it's the person, and leave them hanging up for the entire month of October. Isn't that Halloween's in? Hang it up for all of Halloween. And at the end of Halloween, take down all our decorations and bin them all as one. Binning the body at the same time. How is that the most cliche way to kill someone? I've never seen that in anything I've ever watched.
Popular. Pick it up or touch it, and an arm falls off of
Oh
it.
yeah, that's completely different. What I'm thinking though. That's someone not realizing a dead body is a dead body. This is putting it in plain sight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This happens in Funhouse Massacre, where they actively just put dead bodies on display for everyone to see.
So how much would it cost for you to get a tattoo of someone else's choice on your body?
Oh, um,
Let's say
what's
it's let's say it's roughly the size of so it's roughly the size of an average fork.
a fork?
You know the prong parts of the fork, the four prongs.
Yes.
The length of those, and basically the same width as those. So basically the length and width of four prongs of a fork.
You wouldn't be able to afford it.
Oh no, I'm not trying to pay for it or get it done myself. I'm just wondering how much it would
I
be.
do not have a number, but I know for a fact you wouldn't be able to afford it. I don't know. Maybe Jay Wolf would be able to afford it, but uh, no normal person would be able to afford it.
How much would it be though? For them to pick a tattoo, they go. You also got to pick where in your body it goes.
Oh,
Like it's not like in a scenario. It's not like in a scenario. It's gonna you go on your head or your forehead. It's gonna be like on your ass, your ankle, somewhere that's not
so that's a game.
somewhere that's not like super like. It's not gonna be like a forehead or like a hand or
That is a game changer. We'll say a
something like
grand
that.
then.
A grand. I'll say this on the podcast. As long as it's not offensive, I would just charge £100 over the cost of the tattoo for someone to pick an ass tattoo for me to get.
They never specified if it was offensive or not.
No, that's part of the thing though. I would like we'd start to narrow it down. Your thing though. We'd start with it being whatever they choose, and we'd go from there.
Oh yeah, the same thing, yeah.
So like, let's say it's not gonna be offensive. It's gonna be dumb. Like a picture of Harry Bell. Let's say her name right now.
Hermione.
Halle Bailey from the Great British Bake Off, for example. Tattoos just of her face.
Pricing still stands. 100 of the standard asking price.
If you could get any tattoo without price being an issue, what tattoo would you want to go for? Enlighten us, what do you mean the crocodile one?
More expensive than I'm willing to pay.
I don't know why, I don't have the money or like the energy to do it right now. But I've always wanted an ass tattoo and I don't know why.
Yeah?
I do not understand why I want one, but I do want an ass tattoo.
Oh, I thought you said a calf tattoo.
No, I love to get JJP or like some filmmaking thing I have on my ass. Like for example, if boss and employee, which I still need you to send me the first half of the video files for that. Your half.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm not able to do
I still need you to send me yours soon though. So we can put episode 1 up soon, so we can episode 2. But if that like gets to episode 80, I'd get boss and employee on my ass.
Oh yes, also, can you like join me?
I'm trying to get to you.
I'm gonna do this. Boss, you've been trying to get to me for the last 5 months.
I don't really know where you are, to be fair.
I'm in the final boss fight. There it was.
If you had to think of all the people you know in life, who would you say is the most charismatic, like host person you know?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Like of all the people you know, who do you think would be the most likely to be able to host a game show, for example?
That is a level of charisma that probably beyond
What do you say?
that is a level of charisma that could be beyond my knowledge. What game show, for example?
Let's say The Chase, for example, like TV show with like the host has good charisma. It's very fun show.
I don't believe the charisma needed for that is as high as you think.
Also, it was just the first TV. It was the first game show I thought of, to be honest. It was honestly just the first game show I thought of, to be honest. I don't have that much charisma that's the host of that, but you know, like that kind. But like that's more of the first game show I thought of. But yeah, like a game show that basically its entire like success and failure relies on the host. Like 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown, or like 8 out of 10 cats in general actually. where the entire like game show relies on the host's charisma.
Oh,
Which person do you know do you think could be best to host one of those?
I don't know. Because I'm assuming you're waiting for me to say you.
I'm waiting for you to answer the question.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I will say this: I do think I'd be. I would. I'm not trying to. I'm not saying this just out of cockiness, but I think I'd be a great host of any sort of content. I've got that kind of openness that you need. I've got that kind of ability to like talk shit and like casually chat to people and like people feel welcome. I have like what I mean I've got like the I don't have I couldn't be a solo host though, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't be like a host of a game show where you need intelligence to be involved. I could be like the fun host. You know what's pointless? You know where you have Armstrong and Miller are the two hosts? And like that is that Miller is just the fun one, while Armstrong's the fun one, while Alexander Miller is more of like the knowledge based guy. Sorry, no, Osmond and Miller are not wrong thing, but yeah, Osmond's like the one who like knows the stuff more than anything else. I think I'd be a very good fun host. I think I'd be a very good. I don't think I'd be a good. I don't think I'd be a great solo host. I think I'd be a phenomenal duo host. Like I think if I was hosted with something, I'd be great. Solo host, I'm not sure how great I'd be as a solo host, because I work a lot better when I can bounce off someone else. But I think I'd be a phenomenal at being a duo host, like a Sam and Mark, and that kind of host.
Yeah. By the way, I have Twitter.
Did what?
Got the key that we needed while we were playing in the car.
What is your stupidest skill that you can it never really has a reason to show off, but is still impressive?
Well, I mean, there's the one I always show off.
But like, I mean, like a skill that's not really even that cool, like a skill something you're really good at, but no reason. It's not really like a show off kind of skill.
That's a good one.
Like for example, a good example would be that I'm very good at throwing my phone into the air and catching it.
Okay.
No matter the height or no matter the height, or if I do it enough times with my eyes open, I can then do it with my eyes closed and catch it still perfectly. Like it's not a skill that's impressive, but any such means it's not a skill you'd want to show off, but it's a skill that I have.
I mean, could be the fact that I can dislocate my limbs.
No, that doesn't
Oh,
count.
come on.
That's a skill that people do show off, and is a very show offable skill.
Hmm. Thing is, I don't do it to show off. I do it for other reasons.
No, but that is a skill that people do show off, and it's a show off skill though.
Hmm.
People like literally,
Uh,
there's entire segments of TV shows dedicated to stuff like that.
I don't know though. I don't know. To an extent, I don't have a gag reflex.
How fast do you think you could eat a single hot dog?
Yeah,
How fast?
I can eat pretty damn fast.
Like how many seconds if it could take you to eat one hot dog?
Uh, right, here's the question. Do I need to do
No.
like one?
You could eat the sausage and the bap in 1 second.
Oh, the full hot dog? That's something
What
different.
were you thinking I meant by when I said hot dog then?
The sausage.
The world record for that is 2 seconds, the eating sausage part.
Oh no, the sausage bit I can just swallow whole.
The record's 2 seconds.
I can swallow a sausage whole
In how long?
in like a second.
I don't think you could do it in a second.
I can swallow a hot dog whole. Not a well, the sausage whole.
I don't think you could do it in a second.
I think it could under the right circumstances.
Maybe not under the right circumstances.
Well, I mean, obviously, if the hot dog's too dry, then you know,
I don't think you could do
it
it.
makes things a little
I
bit
don't think
smaller.
you could do it in a second.
I have practiced this on frankfurters.
Because like a professional can really get that sausage down in 2 seconds and eat the entire sausage and bun in 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's the bun. The bun is a game changer.
But yeah, like that professional can only eat the sausage in 2 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that part of their guideline would be that they have to actually eat it,
No, it has to be.
not just
No,
swallow it
you
whole.
can swallow it whole. How many hot dogs do you think you could eat in 5 minutes?
I
It
have
obviously includes the
no idea.
buns.
I have no idea. 5 minutes. On a good day, I can knock out a hot dog in about 10. What size hot dog are we talking?
Standard is standard enough size.
There is no standard size for a hot dog
There
because
is.
people are greedy. What is the standard size then?
Standard size is basically just under hand length. Basically palm
So,
the tip. Basically.
6 inches.
About 6 inches, I'd say, something like that. Roughly kind of length.
A lot.
Because I think I could probably eat maybe 8, maybe 9 in 5 minutes.
Nah, definitely could do more than that.
I'm not 100% sure. Here's the thing though. My problem is I've never tried a proper tofu dog, which is what the vegetarian versions of the thought would be in the contests.
Yes.
Because it's the same, like, it's basically the same exact thing, just different
Yeah.
substitute meat for tofu.
Jess, I found a way to get under the map,
Yeah, I saw that too. I didn't do it though.
and I'm a little screwed.
Would you ever turn vegetarian or vegan?
No.
Why would you never turn vegetarian or vegan?
I enjoy meat.
What would you think would be the longest you could go without eating meat?
Red meat.
All meat. How long do you think you could go without eating an animal?
Oh, I couldn't. I know. I
No, I
couldn't.
said how long do you think you could go?
Oh, 2 days.
Like, do you think you could? Do you think you could outlast me and not eating animals? For example,
No, no.
I haven't went that long. Only
I could
since like June.
go. I could go pescatarian maybe.
Only eating fish.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think I've eaten maybe five, maybe four fish in my entire life, and that's at a
As I
very
said,
maximum.
I could probably go pescatarian.
I only miss two things from meat, though. I only miss sausage rolls from the cooperative. Other brands are available, and ham.
Yes.
Because vegetarian ham is not yet perfected, like most other vegetarian things are.
Um,
As,
problem for me, less for you. There's a sausage roll that I really want to get.
mhm,
They sell them in a bakery up the road.
mhm.
In my opinion, they are the best hot dog sausage roll I've ever had.
Is that the one in the bakery near the model?
No, no, it's not.
I don't know where you mean by up the road though, because I might have tried it. Or I'm not sure if I have or not.
When I say up the road, I mean um, past Mercy Park.
I'm not 100% sure if I've had them or not. I've had most sausage rolls that I earn in
No,
this like no
the
Belfast.
bakery is called the Upper Crumb.
They are all I have. They're not. I like the cooperative more to be honest.
The Upper Crumb, I would say, does the best sausage rolls ever.
I'll say this: I would pay ridiculous amounts of money. I'm not even gonna say how much because I don't know how much I actually would pay for it. But I'd pay a good amount of money for the cooperatives to start selling vegetarian versions of their sausage rolls.
It wouldn't taste as good.
The 6 pack. Oh no, the pastry is what really makes them.
Wait, it's just the pastry?
I
This
think
is this
I
is
I think the pastry is what really makes the cooperative sausage rolls.
okay.
Why?
Um, that's not a problem. I could probably, I'm 99% sure that I could find that exact pastry and make you a vegetarian sausage roll that tastes as close as possible within limitations of meat.
But no, I'm gonna get one of my friends who is uh I'm not gonna say what country they're from, or that will make it very clear which friend I'm talking about to you. But I'm gonna say this: they're not from the UK.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get them to text me the name of a dish that I will never have heard of, and you will never have heard of, and maybe James Allen if we can get him in, but I'm not sure I'm saying that one. That we've never have heard of, and then we'll finally get to do the without a recipe, without the ingredients
Okay.
cooking show. We're both giving a budget of I don't know how much yet. let's say at most 10 each. At most, we have a budget of maybe 10 each,
Okay.
and we have to, and we're given the name of a dish that we do not know what it is. Like for example, let's say we didn't know what sausage rolls. What's wrong with them? We didn't know what sausage rolls were.
Okay.
You would just get we just hear the name sausage rolls and have to make them from scratch.
Okay.
The added benefit is also if like you think there's pastry in it, you have to make the pastry without knowing how to make pastry.
You think I don't know how to make pastry?
I don't know how to make pastry. I don't know how to make bread and stuff. I don't know how to make a lot of stuff from scratch. I know one thing about making bread though,
See,
which
this is why I wanted
me
to
too.
make, this is why I wanted to make our cooking show.
You cannot be. I don't know if you can be involved in my cooking show.
So, my cooking show.
What was your cooking show again?
Well, I mean, due to all limitation, um, there's all food that can be done without a kitchen necessarily.
Because the problem is for me for you and my cooking show then is if you know how to make if you know how to make like for example pastries like bread or stuff, you couldn't be in this involved in the you couldn't be as in as many episodes as I could be in.
Yeah, I would literally have to like have any usefulness at all.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of dishes like uh, for example, let's just say this for example, from Bali that you would not know what the hell goes into it.
Yeah, most likely.
But even if you thought bread went into it, you wouldn't know how to. You wouldn't like. That's one thing you would know how to do is make bread.
Yes.
But also, you could be completely wrong that bread's involved in it. You know what I mean? So you could have made a bread. Like you could have spent like you could have spent half your time making bread for a dish that doesn't have bread in it. So I would get one of my friends to text me the name of a dish. That we both I say we both, me or you or whoever get involved. I'm not sure who's definitely gonna be in the thing yet. Because if you know too much about some baking stuff, you might not be able to get you involved. But whoever we get involved in the thing with me for sure, I'm not 100% going to confirm who's going to be then right now. I don't know for certain, but we would then get like we both would have an honor system in place, which is if you've heard of the dish, you admit it and be like, no, I know this dish. I know what's in this dish. I have an unfair advantage here. And keep going till we get a dish that no one knows who's in the episode, and then we make it from without knowing the ingredients or the recipe. And then obviously Tom for the real kicker of the episode. We also bring in the real dish. You know what I mean? So like we would then get the real dish to compare the three of them, the look wise. There's obviously still 24 seconds, 24 minutes, 24 hours to get perfected, which would be fun. I just need to get a. I need to just not be in work so I can get a full day where I can. Because I'll be the one doing 24 hours because it's the most amount of work for any of us to do. Because I have to have to record for 24 hours and also not really sleep for 24 hours. They can actually technically spend a full 24 hours on it. So I need to be able to sleep pretty well immediately after recording. So then we get our judge in, because ideally right now my ideal trio for 24 minutes, 24 seconds, 24 hours would be me and James. Would be my dream trio to be in the episode. Episode 1 at least. We'd obviously swap in and out some people. Like episode 2 might be me, you, and Peter. Episode 3 might be me, James, and John. Episode 4 might be, which I would love to see happen, which would be you, Peter, and James, or something like that. I'd love to see some episodes where I'm not in it at all.
Jess, do you have any crystals? Silver crystals, or whatever they call them?
I think so.
If you do, I need to drop them.
I don't know where they're sitting though.
They will be on the middle row. Yeah, they will be in the middle row near the end.
No, I've got. Let's see. Yeah, I've got 124.
Oh yeah, drop them.
I can't. I'm dead.
When you're time.
Okay, I'll drop them around now. Okay, die and you'll come get them. Or just come and get them. How many do you have?
I had 150. I need 25 more.
And then obviously for 24-hour challenge, especially more than any other video I can do, I can get outside people who aren't in this country to be involved as well. I've got some friends for London and all. I could expand that one out and all and get some others involved that I couldn't usually get and stuff. I'm not gonna spoil it, but once I get episode 1 confirmed and know the concept and have it worked out, I know what's gonna happen in it. I know the whole show and I know how I want it to work and all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna spoil who, but I might get an old Operation Comedy member back on the channel to be a 24-seconder, maybe a 24-minute, potentially even a 24-hour. I'm not sure which one definitely, but might go get an old Operation Comedy fan favorite back on the channel again.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be busy that week.
Why?
I'm gonna be busy that week.
Why would you be busy that week? You don't know who I'm talking about? Give me a word to try and describe who you think I'm talking about and I'll tell you if you're right. Famous? Oh, okay, let's try and do this a different way then, if you're saying famous. If I said park.
You said what?
Park.
That could lead, technically.
Is it the person that was in the park with us a few times.
Yes.
I'm thinking of.
You still could be thinking of someone different. How, two different people.
Oh yeah, it's them potentially.
Yeah. Why do you think they wouldn't get that?
What?
Why do you think they wouldn't get that?
But why would you be busy that week?
It would be good.
Because most of them were wondering if you tried to fall out. I didn't know about it. It's like, oh damn.
Well, I mean, we don't exactly talk.
I mean, I talk to her like maybe once a month, maybe at most.
Yeah, we haven't talked in a long while.
I catch up with her every so often. Like, we're not as close as we used to be, but still one of my favorite humans. Still in the bits.
Yeah, no, we haven't talked in a long time.
But also remember how 24 minutes, 24 seconds, 24 hours works. You wouldn't actually be interacting with them at all. Nor would I actually, because I wouldn't be in the same country as them.
But yeah, and like, you, little more than 50-50, but they don't like me, so,
I don't know. Actually, I don't know, to be honest. I don't think they dislike you, to be honest.
I was near 82% sure that they do not like me at all.
I think I think they'd like you. I don't think they'd like think of you immediately in life. But I don't think they dislike you.
There seems to be a growing trend that they think they like me.
Name 3 people.
I can't name people for disclosure reasons.
Describe generically 3 people.
How do I describe generically?
We just did it with one.
Yeah, but I mean, that's because I know, like, information somewhat about that person. Don't really know much information about any of your other friends.
I think you know quite a bit of information about a few of them.
Hmm?
That's some now far back, but that weirdly there. But yeah, I think you know a bit further information about some of them.
Well, we'll say time.
Wait, say?
We'll say time. That's one.
Time?
Time.
Trying?
Time.
Town?
Yep. And university. That should describe them somewhat
Yeah, that's one.
as one. We'll say Batman, Riddle of the Mask, Joker.
I'd say two, but also I would never. I'd say two, maybe. I don't actually know for sure. Either way on that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain they don't like me. Could be wrong, but I just got that feeling.
Who'd be the third then in the scenario?
I don't know a lot of your other friends because we don't exactly get much interaction.
No, that's also this isn't like bad naming anyone though. It's just naming some of my friends that you don't actually This is not. I'm just not gonna name basically all of my like go-to friends, right? Really? Let's start with you, obviously, because I'm talking to you now.
Oh yeah, there's another one. There's three.
You conniving little bitch. So there's you, Peter.
Yeah.
The annoying thing is, if I might forget to name someone right now who's still is my friend. I just have a very bad memory, which should be very awkward.
How about this? Name friends who I've met, and I'll tell you if I think they like me.
Okay, so there's you, Peter, Jonathan.
Jonathan?
A lot of people call John Jonathan sometimes.
I don't know. I'm very so-so there. I can never tell if he likes me or just deals with me.
I think the problem with you and good friend John is you both have social anxiety.
Yeah, I don't know.
So do I, though, but you both have social anxiety and don't really know each other well. And you're both too anxious to really talk to each other that much.
Oh, there's another one, BFG.
BFG?
BFG.
Commissioner Gordon?
No.
Oh, I get you now. I'm gonna keep going back to naming my friends, though.
But I am 100% certain that way.
I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to naming friends now. Butler, Judy, Emily Braden. I don't know why I said Emily Braden, there's no other Emilys in the list.
Yeah, but you like to call people by their second name.
Not usually, actually. James Allen.
Call me Tom, I mean.
I do call you Tom.
Yeah, but you know. You call me the last, I mean.
I do that with 3 different people. Emmy is the next one on my list. Chrissy. Callum. Emma Turner.
I'm calling my friends that I've met.
I'm just naming all of my friends. Charlie Clark. Carson Boomer. Let's see. I'm definitely forgetting people right now, and that is awkward.
It would be kind of awkward, yes. Is there any more silver, by the way?
Let me check. No. I wouldn't say we're the best of the friends, but definitely friends with Rachel Curry as well. I wouldn't say we talk all the time, but we're definitely friends.
I have not talked to Gravy in a long time.
Like, it's not like every week or every month or even we talk, but it's every so often, and it's always a deep convo when we talk. It's either a deep convo or a really bad joke. Like, she posts one screenshot and I'll leave uni, and I respond one response and I'll leave my job, and then stuff like that.
Do you not currently have a ongoing
Streak on Snapchat? No, I don't really use Snapchat.
I thought you had a big long streak?
No. Didn't forget them. I was about to name them, then I said maybe I'm forgetting people. Then I felt awkward that I maybe forgot people, but Nikita Fox, obviously. I weirdly interrupted my actual list of new people I know and I'm really good friends with by saying I'm worried I don't know people, and then went back to naming people I do know. And then I'm just gonna rattle some off then. Adam, Ruben, Laura.
Wait, yeah, on that point, I'm pretty sure she doesn't like music.
Who?
Pretty sure. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. shit, man. They said that you're going to be in Mr. Incredible.
What is that?
I'm pretty sure Mr. Incredible. That's literally the only clue I can really give you without giving the giveaway. Mr. Incredible.
I did not know what you mean by that, to be honest.
Well, this thing's about someone who has purchased a Mr. Incredible before as a gift
I've purchased a Mr. Incredible before as a gift?
for you.
For me?
Well, Peter.
I give Peter Mr. Incredible as a gift.
What? No, wait. Yes, yeah, I got that mixed up. That person also got a gift from that trip, and you mentioned them within the last 2 minutes.
The only people I give gifts to from that trip was you, Gorman, Butler, Emmy, Peter, James, and Nikita.
Yeah. You got it in there at the end. I wasn't aware that you were friends with him at that point in time.
I've been friends with Emmy for 3 years.
No, I wasn't aware that it's been that long.
I wouldn't say we've been best friends for 3 years, though. I'd say 2 years, maybe 8-9 months. We've been best friends. I don't think at the start we were best friends, to be honest. Like when I first met Emmy in Belfast Met, we weren't best friends yet. Yeah, it took us like 2 to 3 months, I think, before I actually realized Emmy liked me, and it wasn't just I was just kept being in their group, and I was like, oh, we're actually friends. We're not just in the same group a few times.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm pretty certain the fact that didn't like me.
Oh, I have no idea on that front, to be honest.
I'm actually pretty confident stating that fact.
I've definitely left some friends out, not on purpose, just... It's kind of, when someone's like, oh, name all of your something, you get nervous about it.
Yeah.
Like if someone, if I wasn't casually named to ask all the Robins there's ever been, I could do it easily.
Okay.
But if someone asked me to name all the Robins, I would definitely forget at least one of them.
Do you have any silver, by the way?
No. Oh, here's a challenge. There's a challenge for you. Equivalent to the question a lot. Name me every Robin the Boy Wonder there is.
Every what?
Every Robin the Boy Wonder. You can name them whatever you like.
Wonder, so.
And that's what they're all called. Even the girls are Robin the Boy Wonders.
Oh, yeah. That makes it a little more difficult because I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to name all the girls.
There's only 2 of them.
Yes, I know, and I can only remember the name of one of them.
But no, Robin the Boy Wonder is a gender-neutral term at this point. Robin the Boy Wonder is just a gender-neutral thing. You can be any gender you like and be Robin the Boy Wonder. But you're still Robin the Boy Wonder no matter what your gender is. You're still Robin the Boy Wonder.
Well, I mean, obviously you got Tim.
Weird, you're starting with Tim, but yes.
Dick.
Yes, of course.
Jason.
The 3 big Robins.
Damien.
The 4th biggest Robin.
Stephanie.
I would say the 5th biggest Robin.
Technically, if we are following timelines, the Joker.
Debatable if he's ever been a Robin.
He has been a Robin at one point.
I don't know if he's ever been a Robin. I know he's wore the Robin costume, but I don't think he's ever been a Robin.
I'm still counting him. Like, he was a Robin for that one.
He's wore the Robin costume, I don't think he's ever been a Robin. If we're not counting people who just wore the costume, well, that's a longer list.
I can't actually remember the other girl's name.
If I said had a period at a prom
Yeah, that wouldn't help.
in a horror movie,
Yes. I can't remember her last name.
so the ones you've forgotten a few more. Not that many more, actually.
Her?
What?
Her?
That is her first name. I'll give you that. It's Carrie Kelly. You've only forgotten one, and it's one that we all want to forget that's happened.
Honestly, don't know.
Bruce Wayne.
What?
Bruce Wayne's been Robin like 5 times.
I don't understand how, but okay.
They've retconned
I
Robin.
need that silver.
I have like, I don't know how many silvers I've got. I haven't got many.
Please pick it up.
There's no point me giving you silvers unless you have basically 270 right now, because I have like
Yeah.
4.
I do, that's the point.
Yeah, you have like a lot of silver because I keep giving you mine. I'll check how many I've gotten. I want to see if you can go past me. Try and run past me. I want to see if this mode like it'll let you or not. It does. Now let's ask you some good little Deadpool facts. Factoids. Oh, it's 300 each, Tom. It's 300 each. Yeah. They don't expect us to be friends doing it as a team. To be fair, I wasn't like 170 before I give you mine. Who's your favorite Muppet? And why? There's no point in me naming my favorite Muppet, it's pretty obvious. I talk about it all the time, there's no point in me naming my favorite Muppet. You could tell the listeners what my favorite Muppet is, Tom. Can't believe you don't know my favorite Muppet. It's Fozzie Bear. Is your favorite Ninja Turtle? How did you not have a favorite Ninja Turtle? What? I was gonna say I thought we shared a favorite Ninja Turtle, but you don't have one. Because I was certain we had the same favorite Ninja Turtle, but if you don't like, you don't have like, you don't have a favorite one. We can't the same. We don't definitely don't have the same favorite one then. You don't have a favorite one, so we can't. Which one reminds you of me? Talking about Mikey? No, the Mikey's not my favorite. Favorite's Raphael. Favorite Power Ranger? That isn't Tommy Oliver. It's not fair when you add Tommy Oliver in.
Right. Do they have to be an actual Power Ranger, or can they be a
Can I be what?
character from?
I'll let you name any character from Power Rangers.
Okay, that makes it a lot easier. Remember, I don't know why I like them, I honestly don't. Remember the dog from the Power Rangers?
SPD Emergency?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dog too. My favorite's Dustin.
Oh. I like
Not
Ivan
including Oliver. Dustin was from Ninja Storm.
Yeah, but I like Ooze. Ivan Ooze.
Who's your favorite camper in Total Drama Island?
Ooh, I don't know. I could honestly say that I don't have one.
Clearly you've never watched the show then.
Oh, I have.
You'd have a favorite then. They're all so distinct and unique that you'd have a favorite if you watched the show.
You do have to remember, I watched it out of we'll call it necessity.
I mean, my favorite is obviously Noah. Sorry, not Noah. Thinking of someone else's favorite. My favorite is obviously Cody. Chubby lovable. Chubby loves food and is very lovable and very dumb.
Funny. I can't remember their names because I don't remember.
You can describe them. I'm a very big fan.
We go absolutely fucking mental. Yeah, it was absolutely mental. And can I tell you the what do you call him now?
Do they have a mohawk?
No, they turn into Gollum.
Oh, that's Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel.
Yeah. Yeah, follow me. I opened the door for you.
You can't open it for me.
I do.
Favorite musical?
Tom, what's your favorite musical?
I don't know. I've always liked Oliver Twist. Don't know why. Right, this game mode is over. Let's go. Back to hobby. But I don't know why. Don't get me wrong, the music and shit, like the actors in The Greatest Showman are great, but I don't get the appeal of Greatest Showman at all.
I'll say this. P.D. Barnum is obviously the worst human being ever. But it also is the most P.T. Barnum thing I've ever seen in my life.
Explain.
Right, P.D. Barnum is an abusive asshole. He enslaved people, treated people awfully, and literally had a promotion going saying that basically, do you know about him in Wales?
We've had this conversation before, remember?
Well, this is for the listeners then. So basically, listeners, he kept like getting whales in, but he kept having the wrong water for them, so they kept dying, repeatedly, just dying and dying and dying. To the point where he put up a sign saying, after like 2 whales died, come see the whales before I kill them.
Yes.
Or the time that he called someone the world's oldest woman, and when she died, he did an autopsy on her to prove himself wrong, that she wasn't as old as he said she was. Stuff like that. But P.D. Barnum, if he was making a movie about his life, he would have made The Greatest Showman, showing himself as a caring, nice person.
Yeah. By the way, what are you streaming on?
YouTube.
Which channel?
Purposely one I don't think you're subscribed to.
Which one?
It's the one where I did my OC watches itself, 7th year.
I don't know. Don't think I am.
It's only on there till I can try and turn it into a podcast later.
That's why I'm asking which one, because I'm curious if all the audio is coming out correctly.
I'm pretty certain it is. I'll double check again now. If I checked at the start and it was, I'll make sure. I'll double check again now. If I checked at the start and it was, I'll make sure. I'll double check again now. If I checked at the start and it was. Do you want to talk, Tom? See if we can up your audio. Right, I think the head's off. I can't keep hearing you.
Purple Walrus. Buffalo.
Yeah, it's picking up all the audio where it should be.
Yeah.
I've had to turn it off again though, because it kept just looping, and so that was. I mean, I couldn't hear anything but myself like 40 times.
Yeah, I know it was looping. Right,
Yeah.
well, seeing as it makes it easier for us to discuss, we should probably play Monopoly.
I mean, sure. It's 2 a.m. We're gonna sleep after a